Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk to you about on cumulative delta is something called being delta neutral, and um, it just adds more weight to the reason why, really, more and more, I'm only looking at cumulative delta in terms of obviously the 5%, the fine tuning, and that is because you won't be able to spot this being delta neutral on your depth of market. You won't be able to spot it the way that I'm going to show you. You won't be able to spot it in a footprint. There's no way you can spot it. And in fact, you can check this for yourself. Go and Google it. You won't see it anywhere, right? You won't see this. This is an understanding that I've developed myself. So, look, at the end of the day, we talked about the housekeeping stuff before. I'd really appreciate um, initially I was even like hesitant to even talk about this, but because it's not out there and I don't want it to be plastered all over forums and whatever. For I've got my own reasons for it. I just don't want it necessarily out. I'm happy for people to use it. It's not any secret tool or indicator or whatever. I just prefer it wasn't necessarily out there in the public, because, like I said, it is proprietary to me, not necessarily in a sort of I'm going to make millions out of it way, but it's just something that I've developed personally, and I just don't want it out there basically all over the internet, plastered everywhere. And oh, look, Envy's come up with this, and I just don't want it basically. I've got no interest with being associated with some sort of way of looking at things. That's all it is. So, I'd really appreciate it. I'm happy to share it with you. But, if we just have an understanding that, you're just going to share it with friends or whatever, like I said before, if you feel that, they're going to be professional about it and not plaster it everywhere. Yeah, it's just that I don't want, funnily enough, I don't want something out there to be associated with me, because then you get all this nonsense, people saying, oh, you've come up with this methodology, and you've come up with some system, and it's not that at all. Literally, it's just my own understanding of cumulative delta, and you're going to see it makes a lot of sense. And actually, I'm surprised no one else is using. And in fact, there probably are people out there, hedge funds, whatever, looking at this, because it just makes so much sense to me. But I've just never seen it out there, so that's why I'd appreciate if you don't obviously put it on the forums and stuff. But basically, getting on to the point, getting on with it, is delta neutral is what? So at the start of the ETH session, you can use RTH as well, but ETH session, which is what, about 1800, obviously at the start of the session, when the new session begins, maintenance period or whatever, the halting period is over, new session begins. How many contracts have traded? Zero. So where's cumulative delta? Zero. Okay, so you've got your sort of zero line, right? If the market's moving up, and I see this time and time again, okay, it won't exactly work like this, but more often than not. So would you agree? Cumulative delta is going up, price is going up, right? So this is our price chart. This is time. This price is going up, and sorry, drew that completely wrong. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and that's our delta essentially. Now, what will happen a lot, right, is firstly delta is going to be above zero because the market's moving up. What does that mean? The market is long. The inventory is long. Okay, I've put here inventory. Then what I have noticed a lot is the market will pull back or whatever, little pullback. Guys, it's uncanny how it does it. It will pull back to close-ish to zero, and then it will get on its way. Okay, and you'll see price go up. Now, why it does that, I can only guess. Okay, my guess is that it's washing the weak hands. Basically, the market's got long of itself, is heavily long delta. We know this. What is delta? It's just in an up move, it's just long market orders. Obviously, the market has sort of accumulated so many long positions. What's the inventory? Long. There's no one left to buy this thing. So and the market does this all the time. It cleans out the market, it cleans out the inventory, it resets things, it obviously gets rid of all the weak hands, and it to get more buyers in. I see it time and time again. I mean, obviously you see it on the depth of market, but here it's just amazing to see it relative to neutral inventory, zero inventory. What is the market doing? So it's too long of itself. There's obviously a lot of long inventory, and the market wants to achieve, a target up there. It could be a composite or whatever it is. To do that, it needs more buyers, right? How are you going to get more buyers? What's he going to do? It's going to flush the system, isn't it? It's going to flush. All of these buyers need to be flushed out. So the market's going to drive us back down to what? And it's uncanny how it either goes to zero or it stays above zero. My point is that it goes through this sort of inventory flushing process where it's closing out. It's forcing some of these weak hands who have got long and they're not willing to stay the course. They're weak, basically. They don't have that conviction, and they're just getting themselves washed out and obviously stopping out or whatever it is. And it will stay positive because the inventory is positive, and then you'll get the big move. Why? Because all of these guys, they'll see it turn around and be like, oh, shouldn't have got out of that position. Bang, I want to get in. You'll also get new participants coming in who have seen this washing process take place. We talked about this a lot in without me getting into this particular level of detail in the I think it was 2.5, forgive me if I'm wrong, but entry versus exit. Do you remember I said I'm looking for clues? I'm always looking for clues. I'm balancing what? Information risk versus price risk, right? This is incredible information that I'm getting here, almost for free. I'm getting this information because it's happened. I might have my pilot position on, whatever. My point is that some sort of battle or process has taken place between buyers and sellers that's reflected in this inventory position. I can see, in the morning or overnight, the market's got long, the inventory is long, the positioning is long, and what's the net delta, the net positioning is long. They've washed out those early longs, and now they're ready to go. Okay, they've cleaned out the weak hands. They've gone through this resetting or flushing process. They've picked up any institutional orders that may be, at lower prices waiting. Let's be honest, we're never going to know the exact reasons. My point is that I've noticed this happening so much that obviously I can't give you exact statistics, but it's reflected in my trading. I'm using this a lot. And this is the final thing that I wanted to go through with you. So, be aware of this sort of neutral position where the market is neither long or short. And in fact, if you see market conditions that are quite balanced, right, a great way of confirming that the market is in balance is you will see the delta going above and below zero. Why? Because market orders are balanced, right? It makes so much sense for the market to be doing this. If I've got strong conviction up, I will always, I don't use it as an indicator. I'm not saying, for example, again, remember, keep coming back to this 70% and 20% and then 5%, okay? It's just giving me that extra little bit of confidence in my thesis. I'm going to be honest with you. If everything lines up here and everything lines up, and I think I've got 90% nailed, we're slightly below, I'm going to take the trade. I'm just saying, if there's, typically everything isn't going to line up exactly the way you want it to, and you're looking for clues, contextual little clues throughout the day, or even if we go slightly negative delta and then we go above positive, what's that telling me? That's telling me, hang on, the market inventory tried to get negative or short, failed. Do you remember I said failures can tell you just as much as things that are happening in your favor? It's just incredible. I love this thing where it's going above zero. It just gives me confidence. There's loads of little ways of using this. We'll have a look at a few examples. Anyway, so that's enough on neutral. Let me show you this on a chart. So what I plan to do is, let's just have a few examples of all the different bits and bobs we've looked at. You know, the absorption, the stop outs, and then the neutral positioning and how we play relative to that. Then I want you to take this, add it to task 4. You've already got cumulative delta. Start looking at this. When you're getting into your positions, I want you to start looking at, you know, what's the order flow, the 5% basically, and how can I use that to get me in or support or tell me actually maybe now's not the right time to press my thesis. All right, guys, so let's get on the charts.